All right, so I want to talk a little bit more today about Fit Model Division. Been getting a lot of questions about it. Obviously, it's been, I think almost a month now, or maybe it has been a full month since this division has been announced. And we've got a lot more clarity, a lot more insight. I've been doing a lot more coaching for this division now. So with that, I have a lot more information to share with all of you out here trying to figure out, hey, is Fit Model the best division for you, right? Are you coming into the sport for the first time to do Fit Model and you're still on the fence trying to figure that out? I got the answers for you. And same for all of you bikini competitors out there that are wondering, should you make the shift over into Fit Model? Maybe that's the look that suits you better, could suit you more, could give you a better career as a competitor. Well, we'll talk about all that in today's video, and I'll give you the insight that I can give you as a coach who's been doing this a very long time and also is currently coaching Fit Model athletes that will be on stages very, very soon, some as soon as tomorrow. So let's dive in. Let's talk a bit about this Fit Model division. So first thing I want you to kind of open your mind to, right? All of everybody out there have been getting so many questions. What is Fit Model? What is this about? What's the criteria specifically? Do I have to look like I'm going to be on a magazine cover, right? Is this literally a model type of a competition? Is there going to be model type of poses? Well, here is a very easy way to sum all this up for you, okay? Fit Model Division is bikini. It was bikini 10 years ago. So really when we talk about Fit Model versus current today's bikini, we're talking about bikini versus bikini. So it is still very much rooted within bikini division as far as where the criteria is going to go, where it's going to exemplify over time, and where it currently sits. Realistically, what we're talking about is just 10 years ago. The bikini look, what was going on stages at all levels, whether it be the Olympia, the Arnold Classic, nationals, or even the local regional competitions that happen in your town all the time, that was bikini division. So they've basically made this division now that diverts back to that look of 10 years ago and named it Fit Model. So if you've been out here on the fence, like not understanding the whole Fit Model name, the whole Fit Model idea, what that really means, no, you don't got to get yourself on a magazine cover. You don't got to worry about that. And you don't have to be a model to be doing this division. There will, however, probably be a lot of models and influencers and things that are going to partake in this division because it is something that suits more of that general look, right? If you haven't been following bikini for a long time, I've been coaching for bikini as long as I'm talking about right now, right? You wouldn't really notice how much bikini has really evolved and changed, right? If you look 10 years back, though, bikini back then, it was really rooted in a lot of the same things. You still had the hourglass shape. You still had the shape in the shoulders, and the midsection had to be tight and small and also conditioned. Glutes still had to have development. Legs had to have development. Still had to have a little bit of that tying effect. All these things that were going on back then. But it was much, much less of a degree than it is today, right? And we've made other videos on this channel where I've shown you guys the difference of, bikini today versus that look from 10 years ago and really where it is. And now bikini is a much, much more muscular, it's a much leaner look, and it's overall just a lot more of an advanced look than where we were sitting 10 years ago. So with the introduction of Fit Model, it really just became a way for judges to kind of, divert the look back in some ways without getting rid of all the athletes that currently like today's look. And as far as bikini and Fit Model goes and where these divisions will go, that's everybody's interpretation. We don't really know at this point in time, right? Does Fit Model take off and it becomes the biggest division? I think it really could, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it totally flops. People don't like it as much and they want to go do, bikini instead, stay there. So it's one of those things where we don't really know those effects yet. That's going to be something we're all going to watch live happen as things go. But what I can tell you is that it's definitely well rooted in bikini because it was bikini from 10 years ago. So if you look back at those times, you look back at those years, and you like those looks, it is definitely a top contender type of a division for you to be considering to get into. And the reason is this is a much more attainable look for a lot of women. It's a look that a lot of women want to have more often, and they want it all the time. That's the interesting thing with bikini at this point, and to some degree, but especially other divisions like wellness or figure or, any of the other divisions. What we're really talking about is that you're going to basically have to live a lifestyle to be a competitor. Okay, right? Like a wellness competitor is always in any season, any room, any situation, going to have lower body dominance, right? It's not just something for stage that you have for the few months that you're competing and that's the way it is. You're going to ultimately have that lower body dominant look 365 days a year. Figure competitors always going to have the V taper. Bikini competitors always going to have that hourglass. And for fit model, you're going to always have that type of a look, right? Which is that hourglass shape, but it's also not overdone. Not a lot of muscle development compared to like bikini, and it's not as lean, not as conditioned. So it is a much more approachable type of a division for those athletes who have been out there and looked at this and said, you know what, I would love to compete, but I don't want to have to look like Laura Lee. I don't want to have to, attain those big shoulders and that super shredded look and the super, developed glute development, hamstring tie and all this. I don't really think that I could get to that point, or I don't want to. And that is where Fit Model really does come into play, because if you like the bikini look overall, but you would like a little bit of a toned down version, that's really what Fit Model is. And it's just the bikini look from 10 years ago. So as it sits today, Fit Model already is about to be rolling out on stages. We're going to be seeing this really come to light, get a little bit more insight into the division. But realistically, the choice ultimately, it does boil down to what you want to be doing and where do you want to excel, right? I can tell you as a coach, I'm coaching for Fit Model, I'm coaching for Bikini, been doing it a long time. Fit Model is obviously new, it's a new division, but I've been coaching for Bikini as long as it was back even then. So realistically, I did train the Fit Model look at the time as well. So I can tell you this, in my experience as a coach, it has become harder and harder to help athletes get the bikini look. And the reason is, again, the advancement over time. And I don't mean it's harder for me in any way. Like, I can build programs and I can coach all day for this type of stuff and I can get people ready. Where it has become harder is for the athlete. It becomes harder for the athlete to have to spend the amount of time in the gym they have to spend now, to have as finite of a focus on the diet as they have to have now. And, if cardio is required as part of their prep, to do the amount of cardio that they would have to do. It has definitely become more. I will tell you that, when I'm building training programs, they are spending more time in the gym now. Nutrition programs are much more finite, down to the point. You got to be hitting this. There's not as much play and as much room for flexibility there. And the same goes with the cardio. I notoriously have always talked about doing as little cardio as possible. Used to have a lot more athletes doing bikini years back that had, could get away with like zero cardio or very little compared to today, where we can still do that, but it's not as frequent, not as often, because again, it's a higher level of condition that you're going to have to achieve in bikini division. So what this ultimately means is that if you're going to be a bikini competitor and you like that look, that's great. It's the good place for you. It is competitive as far as where things are going to head. It may get more competitive, right? So realistically, you're going to be, training harder, more time in the gym, lifting heavier, doing all that, really working your body a lot all the time. And then same with nutrition, you got to be more focused in that department. And if you got to do cardio for your prep, you're going to be doing some of that as well. So it does become a lot of variables that before Fit Model, obviously, that was just prep. That was just the way it was. That was the way bikini was. And, that's what you had to do. Anybody who's been training for these divisions or successfully has done any competitions as of recent time would know that that is what it takes. And you're probably okay with that. However, with the door being open now for Fit Model, this is a division where a lot of that is going to still happen, but it's going to be less. So, Fit Model programming, Fit Model coaching, the way that I'm rolling it out right now and the way that it will continue, and just even from the criteria of understanding, that the division requires less muscle, less conditioning overall, less of all those things, I can tell you that what you have to do in the gym and with nutrition and with cardio becomes less overall as well, right? You're going to be doing less, no doubt. You don't have to be in the gym as long. You don't have to do as hard of workouts. You don't have to do as much cardio. You won't have to have as much focus on diet. You could probably diet on less calories, more calories and less, with less rigidity, more flexibility, those types of things. So it is in a lot of ways a great division for those that want to compete and be able to compete, and don't want to go to necessarily the extremes of bikini, if you will, and still want to be out there just enjoying their time, being able to, get on stage, rock and roll, do these things, and compete as part of your lifestyle. Because ultimately, that's what it is. I mean, if you want to be a successful competitor in this sport, you have to live it as a lifestyle. You have to, you're going to look like a bikini competitor all the time. You're going to look like a wellness competitor all the time. You're going to look like a fit model competitor all the time, whether you're on stage or not. It's going to be variances of that. However, what you're going to have to do doesn't go away. In other words, you're not going to be able to just hop on stage and hop off and not do any of the stuff, not go to the gym, not do your workouts, not do your cardio, and then expect to be able to get back on stage at some point without doing all of that again. So ultimately, this does open a new channel and a new door for those types of people out there that may have written off competing because you didn't like the bikini look, didn't want to do all that you had to do to even get there. So you wrote off the idea of it, and you've been living a fit lifestyle. You've been going to the gym, been doing your cardio, been eating your meals. Now there's a place where you can do that with a little bit more of a focus and actually become part of the industry, become part of the sport, and start competing. So that's really where Fit Model is. It's also a great spot for all of you bikini competitors out there that kind of have found that you've been doing the grind and the hustle and the work, and you've been doing it a long time, and you're not placing the way you want, or maybe you are, but you're just tired of all of that, energy and that effort going out and that super focus that you have to be able to attain a very quality bikini physique on stage. So Fit Model becomes a spot now where you can do a lot of those things still, and you can enjoy that, but you're also going to open the door to having a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more balance, a little bit more of an ability to, have other areas of your life flourish at the same time that you're competing on stage. So it is one of those things where it is a cool new division where you can really jump in and enjoy doing all the benefits of our sport, with also having some other benefits you may not get in these other divisions. And that's a unique piece of place. The other thing I would say is really right now is the first time that we're going to start seeing this on stage this year, over this time. This is where we're going to start seeing athletes. It also does give you a cool opportunity for those of you that are brave and brazen and want to be a part of that, to kind of carve out that look. I know a lot of people are still waiting. A lot of people are sitting here. Keep an eye on the first events. Keep an eye on how things are going to go over the next 6 months this year to get a better idea of, what kind of athletes are winning, what kind of athletes are placing, what kind of athletes are not, and what does that mean for you, right? So I know a lot of you are going to wait, but for those of you that are on the opposite side of that spectrum where you say, I don't want to wait, I want to be part of it, well, right now is a really cool time where you can really probably only do this once in your competition career, and that's become a part of some of the first events for this new division. Because ultimately, NPC, IFBB, they're not adding new divisions all the time. It happens rarely. It's probably going to happen. I don't know what else they could add at this point to the women's divisions that would make any sense. We kind of have all the bases covered. So this may be the last one we see added for a very long time. And with that, you have this unique chance to go out there on stage, start carving that look out, because ultimately that is how these divisions advance. That is how these looks change. That is how we've gotten where we've gotten with bikini, with wellness, with figure, is based on, guess what? You, the athletes, those of you out there that are creating your most ideal look and then bringing it to the stage, and then, seeing how that stacks up in the lineups and seeing what the judges like as far as what you've brought and how that works to create the ultimate look of the division, right? And so in the beginning, you have the chance to do that. And that's why also too, if you're going to be one of the athletes that are going to just pull back a bit, wait it out, see how things look in 6 months, a year, okay, great. But keep in mind that there's going to be a high variance, high variety of what we see on stages as we go, right? We're going to see all different kinds of competitor looks, all different kinds of athlete looks, some with bigger shoulders, some with less shoulders, some that are softer, some that are harder, some that are, have bigger glutes, some with smaller glutes. It's going to be all over the place. And we'll even see, as competitions happening at different parts of the country in the same weekend where athletes are winning that do not even look similar. And that's just going to be the nature of the beast as this new division rolls out. But again, it's one of those things where ultimately, I don't know that anybody needs to be waiting. I don't know that anybody needs to be looking. I don't know that anybody needs to be worried about getting on stage. If you even have an inkling or an itch of the idea of Fit Model, if you've watched this video this far, and you should probably just go get on stage. You should probably give it a run, right? Jump on prep, get yourself a coach, get to work on bringing this look through. One of the things I did want to highlight about Fit Model Division that I've been seeing a lot of is that people think that this division, is not going to require any work. It's not going to require any training, any nutrition, any cardio, any of this kind of stuff. You could walk off the street type of a woman and get into this division and do well. And I will simply tell you that is not going to be the case. I know that for sure. It is a bodybuilding division. It is part of the industry. It is part of the sport for sure. And it is just a bikini look from 10 years ago. So, if you had been paying attention to this long enough or doing this long enough, you would know that look does not come, just from walking off the street, going to freaking Walmart and then walking onto stage. It doesn't happen that way, right? And in fact, I invite you all to go anywhere, go down to Costco, go to, the mall, go to some place where there's a lot of people. You will not see a lot of women that look like fit model competitors walking around or bikini athletes walking around, because again, it's a very individual niche type of a thing to even attain these looks in the first place. So Fit Model will be a division where absolutely you still have to train hard. You're still going to have to attain those looks. You're still going to have to build that muscle. You are still going to have to diet and have a good focus on that. And absolutely you can't just eat whatever you want and get on stage. And you will probably have to do some cardio as well, minimal, less than maybe you would in some other divisions, but still far more than the average woman is doing in any circle. So at this point, what I want you to understand is that, Fit Model is part of bodybuilding. It's a bodybuilding division, and it will ultimately be on stage showcased this way. So for all of you thinking that it's going to go the opposite way, yeah, we may see some, different quality of physiques at the amateur levels, but we see that anyway, right? You always are going to see in bikini or wellness or figure, you see at the regional local events, there's going to be different quality of athletes that show up. Some that are going to be obviously, kind of out of condition, could be holding a little bit extra body fat. You're going to see athletes that don't have as much muscle, don't have enough muscle, don't have the correct muscle for the criteria. You see this all the time, and that's because, again, it's part of the sport. So we'll see that at every level. We'll see that in Fit Model, but it doesn't mean that that's going to be the ultimate look that is, going to be favored over time. It definitely won't be. I can tell you that for sure. So Fit Model will be a place where you do have to train hard. You can't just go do random workouts. You can't just do random nutrition. You can't just do whatever cardio. You're going to have a training program. You're going to have a specific goal and a plan to take you from where you are today to where you need to be on a Fit Model stage to be able to win. Because what's the point of doing all this if you don't give yourself a real shot at actually doing that, right? And that's most people. I talk to a lot of competitors online through DMs, through questions, through pretty much everything. And I always ask people, what's your goal? What are you trying to do? How are things going, right? Just because I like to get a better insight into how the industry's going, what people do this for, and why you are out here watching my video this long and wanting to get on stage, right? I think that's powerful. And we go through our life and people just don't ask about our goals or care what we're doing. And I try to make that different. I try to be out there just, hearing a little bit more about you and what's going on. So if you guys don't follow me already on my Instagram, it's at Team Flex. And I'm always over there talking with people in the DMs about different things. So definitely get on there if you want to have a little bit more of an in-depth one-on-one convo. But realistically, where I was going to go with this is that I find all of the time that pretty much everyone's goal is to win their competition. I think, at some point, maybe when I first started my career, there was a lot more people that were kind of just interested in the idea of doing it to say they did it. I don't really encounter that much now in conversations. And this is, again, a testament to the quality and the level that our sport has grown over time, that now, it is very competitive. People want to win, and pretty much everybody wants to win. I very rarely ever hear anyone say, I'd be okay with just getting on stage. I mean, I haven't heard that in a long, long time now. It is always, I want to win my class. I want to get an overall. I want to go get a pro card after that, right? That's really the quality of where we are now with athletes that are working very, very hard. And this will be the same in Fit Model. So this I expect to see play out in a big way throughout this year, throughout the season. I do think, though, that if you're going to do Fit Model, understand that you really are going to need, a coach for one. You're going to need some training. You're going to need a custom training program. You're going to need custom nutrition. You're going to need all these things. And yeah, it's going to be not as bad. It's not going to be as much, lifting. It's not going to be as much of a focus on nutrition. It's not going to be as much cardio. It's not going to be all those things that you would need to do for bikini or for wellness or for figure, right? It's going to be variances of them where you're going to also have a little bit more balance, a little bit more room, a little bit more flexibility, which I think is going to appeal to a lot of people. And that's ultimately why this is in the game. So it will still, however, be a lot of work. It will be a very hard focus. You cannot just go to the gym, say you've done it, do the machine rotation at the gym, do whatever, and say you're going to get on a fit model stage. It will not work. And even if it does once or twice for you at your local show where nobody was there, it's not going to work in the long term. I promise you that. So really ultimately important that you understand if you're going to do this, you want to do it the right way. You want to go all the way in. Don't try to just, half-ass it. Don't try to guess your way through it. Get yourself a coach, get yourself somebody who knows what they're doing, knows how to do the work, and can help you get there. Ultimately, it lets you be your best athlete, which is ultimately what's going to enable you to do the best on stage, right? I always tell athletes all the time, people always think, oh yeah, I've been doing training in a good amount of time. I know what I'm doing in the gym. I know what I'm doing with nutrition. I know these things. Okay, well, every single time you're on prep, it's a whole different look though, right? Like it's a whole different idea, whole different thing you have to attain. And the mind games are the things that will kill any competitor, right? If you're going through and you're like, oh, it's 12 weeks out. All right, do I look where I should be 12 weeks out? Maybe I need to adjust my nutrition. Maybe I need to change my training. Maybe I need to, all that goes away when you have a coach that knows what they're doing and can teach you, can tell you, and can guide you. And that enables you to, guess what? Be your best athlete, which means you get to go do the work. You get to do it as 100%, and that means your result is going to be 100% better as well, right? If you're not second guessing, you're not worrying, you're not wondering, you're not making mistakes with changing things or not changing things when you should have, and all of those things that can come from kind of guessing your way through a prep. Well, if you have a good coach, you got somebody in your corner, somebody that can guide you and work with you and teach you and help you along the road. It enables you to truly enjoy the experience you deserve to have in this sport, which is to ultimately go achieve your goals. If your goal is to win, then win, and I think you deserve to do that. So fit model division is going to be no different. It's going to be a hard look to attain for anybody who's doing it, and ultimately it will be one that I think could grow for a wide audience of people. It may be the division that kind of outdoes bikini, gets us to that level where, it is the biggest, most popular division in the NPC and the IFBB. Time will tell. I want to know, though, are you guys planning to be a part of it? Are you planning to get into the fit model stage? Or are you bikini through and through? You know it already. You don't got to guess it. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. And thank you for watching. I'm going to just keep making these videos, keep chatting with you. And hopefully we can all learn a lot more together and watch how this fit model division rolls out. Thanks for watching. Coach Ryan is out.